It is the end of the year, and come January, everybody starts talking about one thing. Unfortunately, that's taxes. And in today's video, I'm going to explain Cleveland City taxes. Hey guys, I'm Patty. Welcome back to my channel, Living in Cleveland, where I make videos about all things Northeast Ohio, Northwest Ohio, and even down south. You know the drill. If you don't want to miss any of my videos, hit that subscribe, hit the like, leave a comment. My info's down there. I love to help people move into the Cleveland area. And this is a new video for me. I don't know why I haven't thought of doing this before, because this has thrown me in surprised me anytime I have moved from suburb to suburb, and that's city taxes. So we all have to pay taxes, federal taxes, state taxes. Well, I guess not everybody. In Ohio, we have to pay federal and state, and you also have to pay local income tax and a couple others that I'm going to explain. And let me just preface this. I am not a CPA. I did graduate from college with an accounting degree, but quickly realized this was not the career path for me. So I am not an expert on the situation. I'm going to speak to you from my personal experience and what I've done research on the good old-fashioned internet. So let's talk about your city income tax. We have a thing in Ohio called RITA, Regional Income Taxing Authority. And everybody says, oh, we got to pay the RITA tax. And really, you're not paying a RITA tax, you're paying a city tax. What RITA is, they administer the taxes on behalf of whatever city decides to belong to RITA. They do all the work for you, and you have to pay RITA. So not every city uses RITA. I live in the city of Lorain, and I have to pay Lorain taxes directly to them. When I lived in North Olmsted, they used RITA, and I had to file the RITA tax form, which is another point. They have their own tax forms that you fill out, whereas if a city is not a part of RITA, you have your own, the city has their own tax forms. And the Lorain one, I can't even figure it out. And I've been doing taxes on my own. Well, not anymore. But back when I was just a simple W-2 employee, I would just do my own taxes, no problem. But Lorain, I can't figure it out. So here's the thing now. You are going to get taxed where you live, where you work. So if you are working in the city of Cleveland, your employer is going to take out taxes for the city of Cleveland. Now, if you live in Lakewood, you also owe Lakewood taxes. So employers do not have to take out money for taxes based on where you live. And here's the reason why. Many suburbs and municipalities will offer a credit based on what you've paid to the city you work in. So when I lived in North Olmsted and I was a Cleveland teacher, I worked in Cleveland but lived in North Olmsted, but North Olmsted offered 100% credit. So I never owed any money, and it was a beautiful thing. Now when I lived in Lakewood, and back then Lakewood was part of RITA, you still have to pay. You're always going to pay Lakewood. Their tax rates are pretty high for the West Side. They didn't give a credit, so I know my kids, they got burned when they moved out because they lived in North Olmsted with me when they were in high school and had jobs, and we never had to worry about paying the city. But now that they live in Lakewood and they have big girl jobs, they're like, they owe more to the city of Lakewood than they get a refund from federal and state, and they get so excited. And I go, don't forget, you got to pay Lakewood taxes. And in Ohio, obviously our taxes are due April 15th, but the city taxes are due April 30th. At least that's how it's been historically. So you always forget about it. I'll pay those, in a couple of weeks when I get my refund, because especially if you're getting a refund, I know I was just talking to my daughter about this yesterday. They want to go to Ireland and they want to use their tax refund money, to pay for that. So they're like, the minute we get our W-2s, we're going to file our income taxes so we can get that money back. And in the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, but you're going to need that money to pay your city taxes, because my two girls live in Lakewood and my other daughter's here in Lorain with me, still living at home. And we're all responsible for city taxes. And let me tell you, it really is a bummer. So if you're thinking of moving to Cleveland, and this is an issue, and I've actually had a couple people that I've worked with moving to Cleveland, they knew it. They're like, oh, no, I'm not moving to that city. They called it RETA. They have the RETA tax. Everybody has a RETA tax. Everybody has a city tax. It's just whether you're going to get a credit for it or not. So all you have to do is go up to, just look it up online, and I'll put the website up there. And they have it all. It's just all laid down. It says if you get 100%, you get a 0% credit, you get a 10% credit, 50% credit. It just depends where you live, but I'll put that website up above. Okay, so now, in addition to this, I did not know that this tax existed until I moved to Oberlin, Ohio. And, well, I can't say that. Well, I had accountants, and they did not know that Oberlin is a township that has the Ohio school income tax. I think I'm still paying because we didn't know, so money was never taken out, and I was an S Corp. It was a whole mess. Yeah, I owed like $10,000 just because we had to go back and the accountants didn't catch it. It was a whole mess. So not everybody has an Ohio school income tax. And what that is, it just means that school district, they put it out to the voters. We need more money, and we're going to impose a separate tax. And this is not your income tax. This is a school income tax. So on top of, if you owe any money to the city that you live in, you may also owe money to the Ohio school income tax. So it's only for residents. So like when I lived in Oberlin, I was working in Cleveland, living in Oberlin. Oberlin is a huge employer. There's a big airport in Oberlin, and there's Oberlin College. So if you work in Oberlin, but don't live there, you don't have to worry about it. This is only for residents. So they also have, like, you can't even you have to go on, it's called, and I'll put this website up there too. They literally are like, plug in your address and we'll let you know if you're going to be responsible for a school income tax. So if this is something that you're concerned about, and it does add up. I mean, taxes add up. I would go on this website, plug in the address you're thinking about moving to, purchasing, and see if there is a school income tax. Because hey, every penny counts. So now, Oberlin's kind of in that rural area, sort of, but it's out there in Lorain County. So a lot of people, especially since the pandemic, they want to sell their house in the suburbs and buy land and spread out and have chickens. This is like a thing in Ohio. I have friends, not me personally, but friends of mine have, like, everybody in their development, they just can't get out of Brunswick. They're not in, are they in Brunswick or Medina? They're in Medina. They can't get out of Medina quick enough. To me, Medina's kind of country as it is. So, if you buy a property that's 10 acres or more, and it has been 100% used for agriculture, it's a commercial farm, but you decide, and what it is, it's a reduction in the tax, the property tax, because you are using that land for commercial farming, which, hello, we need food, right? We got to eat something. So they get a tax break. So I was reading this article. So the land has to be solely used for agriculture. And there's different things, like they go, I'm going to read it. It is animal or poultry husbandry, aquaculture, algaculture, which is farming of algae. Apiculture, I don't even know what these words mean. Cultivation of hemp, only by a person issued with a hemp license. Production for commercial purpose of timber, field crops, tobacco, fruits, vegetables, nursery stock, ornamental trees, sod, or flowers. Okay, got that. So now say you want to move to the country. Oh, and you also don't have to have 10 or more acres. You could have less acres, but you have to have an income of at least $2,500, which to me is like, really? Whatever, but that's what it says. So now, you want to move, you want to buy 10 acres, and I actually had a client. He found his property down south. He wanted it bad, and he was all about, well, how do I keep this? It's called the CAUV tax. It's the current agricultural use valuation. Current is the key word. So he was all about, how do I keep this tax reduction? And it can be quite significant. Well, if you're not using the land for agriculture. You can't. So say you buy your 10 acres, you build your dream house, and you're not building anything. You're just enjoying living out in the country. Well, unless you have negotiated this tax, when you purchase the home, you're going to be left on the hook for the last 3 years of what the difference is between what the reduction with the CAUV taxes and that market value at that time. And that can be a hefty bill, and it's treated just as a property tax, and you can get a lien on your property. So that's kind of a big deal. So if you are looking to purchase land and it's previously been used as commercial farming, make sure you have a realtor, or me, because I know about this, that can negotiate that, hey, you know what? The seller, they enjoyed that tax savings for the whole time that they've been using that property. Let's negotiate that they're going to pay that difference, because going forward, there is no tax savings. They just pay for that tax savings just for the past 3 years. So that's super, super important, because when you're building a house, whatever you're doing, and you had no idea that this tax bill was coming due, and you're like, oh, I got these taxes are so cheap, just be on the lookout and make sure you're working, if it's not me, a real estate agent that knows about buying property in rural areas, especially if it was being used for farming. Okay, so I think I got all the city sort of income taxes. I haven't talked about, CAUV goes with property taxes. And every video I do on a suburb, I print out every year, and it's getting grody because I use it all the time. I print out a list of what every city's property taxes are, and it's different rates, and you know it if you've watched any of my videos. Shaker Heights up there, Cleveland Heights, highest. Independence and Cuyahoga County is the lowest, because you're gonna be paying that every month when you make a mortgage payment. And when I go to write an offer, especially if it's with a couple that were really at the top of their budget, I always call the mortgage lender before I make an offer, and I said, here's where we're at, this is what we're thinking of offering, if we get it, can we get it done? And the first thing they always ask is, what's the property tax? Because that can make it or break it. So those are all your local taxes. Now, okay, this last piece really does not have to do with taxes you pay for living in Ohio or in Cleveland. It doesn't have to do with property taxes, doesn't have to do with income taxes. It has to do with sales tax. So in Ohio, there's sales tax just like we're everywhere else in the country. But in the state of Ohio, every county has a different sales tax. And, when it comes down to buying something big like a car, the sales tax can make a big difference. So there's a map, and it's on tax.ohio.gov, and it's a pretty little color-coded map. I have it right over here on my computer. I don't know if you can see it. Right here, there's a state of Ohio with all the different colors. So in Cuyahoga County is 8%, is the highest that anyone in the state of Ohio is allowed to go to. State of Ohio charges 5.7 and allows every county to go up to 8%. And Cuyahoga County sure did that. It's one of 4 counties that charge an 8% sales tax rate. Guess what you pay in Lorain County? 6.5%. That's a big difference. If you're buying a car, or, I think every year, and also like getting your cars registered, getting your license plates every year, that comes down to the county. Every county has different rates. So the counties I really service are Cuyahoga, 8%, Lorain, 6.5%, Erie County, which is like Sandusky, that area, 6.75%. I also service a lot of Ottawa County. That's like the Marblehead, Port Clinton area. They're 7%. Let's see. Lake County, 7.25. Geauga County, 6.75. Medina County, 6.75. Summit County, 6.75. So sales tax, be prepared when you come here. Depending on what county you're in, you're going to be paying different taxes. So those are the taxes. There's all kinds of different things about you're going to need to know about things you pay for, like car registration. I bought an electric car last year and did not know that the state of Ohio still wants their gas tax. So I have to pay an extra $200 a year on top of my registration fee just because I have an electric car, because I don't buy gas. And even hybrids, I think, are $100 extra a year. So something else to keep in mind if you're coming and you think you want to. Now, granted, I got a nice rebate from the federal government, but the state of Ohio still wanted their gas money. So all these things you need to take, into consideration. And unfortunately, a lot of them, unless you know ahead of time, or somebody like me has experienced it, it's going to be too late. Like, it was too late. Like, I'd already had my car for 6 months and I'm like, I got to pay $200 a year? Are you kidding me? That's crazy. That's what it is. But hey, check out the links below if you want any of this tax information, or hey, if it's just easier to give me a call, give me a call. If you're looking to move to the Cleveland area, again, my info's down there. I love to help, and thanks for watching.